So Currys, the electronics retailer, have put out this quite garish sticker on the pavement of Oxford Street. It says to mind the grab, referring to the sad phenomenon of young men in balaclavas on e-bikes grabbing our phones. Patrick, I mean, the fact that a company is leaning into this is quite telling. I mean, we're often told that not to worry about crime. Crime is going down. But clearly the public perception must be that it's still a really serious problem, especially in London.
I just feel like this is just another battleground that needs to be fought, where the members of the public are like, well, I'm seeing a lot more machetes. And I feel as though I'm seeing a lot more stabbings, and just a much lower level as well. Things like a lot more graffiti and a lot more of this kind of rough sleeping and all of that. You know, I'm hearing a lot more about sexual assaults against women. I feel less safe when I go out and about now than I did 10 years ago. But of course, I'm just wrong, and we're all wrong, aren't we? Because Fraser Nelson has found a statistic that says that we're wrong. It's complete and utter horse poo, all of this. You know, it's depressing, isn't it? In Sadiq Khan's London, we've got a strip there, mind the grab on the busiest shopping street. But it's another thing about our lives where we're being asked to like make little concessions instead of dealing with the real thing. Like, I was in Tesco's just around the corner here the other day. They've got security containers around cheese. It's like, right, okay. So people are going, well, it's only a minor inconvenience, isn't it? Oh, well, yeah, it is. But is there not a wider point? Like, people are nicking cheese. People are nicking everything. You know, it's not just like the top shelf stuff anymore. It's like, I'm going to have that Wensleydale. This is, have we sunk to this particular level? I mean, at what point is it going to be where it's like, okay, right, women and girls, you're not allowed out after 6 p.m. just to stop. That'll solve it. You know, how many more little concessions do we have to make in our lives before someone goes, maybe we should have increased our police forces in line with rapid population growth just to keep a handle on things. So maybe we should do things like more stop and search and all of that. It just feels a little bit ridiculous. Because the other thing, sorry to prattle on about this, but it's really pissed me off, is that the other thing is, even if you do mind the grab, right, and someone just goes, all right, I'll park my e-bike just in the curb and I'll pull a machete on you in broad daylight and I'll take your phone off you anyway. You report it to the police. They're not going to do anything about it. You have to look after yourself. You have to mind the grab, because the police aren't going to solve the crime, are they? And this is the other point that winds me up a bit.
Yeah, and the police are obviously too busy going after nasty tweets and things like that. So, you know, more important work for them, I guess. But Tom,
no, exactly. When I first saw the mind the grab, I was almost relieved that it was in relation to phones rather than anything else that we might have been talking about already. But it's, as you say, depressing sign of the times. Also depressing is the fact that this is actually a collaboration between Currys, Westminster Council and the Metropolitan Police. They've all got behind this. And you think, particularly when you're talking about the Met, it is within your power to do something about this. You know, we are like the most surveilled city this side of Xinjiang, and yet apparently it's impossible for the Metropolitan Police to crack down on what is often quite a small number of people working in an organised fashion to snatch a lot of phones in a particular area.
And your phone literally has a GPS signal on it. You can the police literally know where it's gone when it's been stolen, and they refuse to act on it.
Yeah, and it becomes this kind of depressing sign of the times, quite literally, in terms of the sort of signage you see around London. It put me in mind of that campaign that cropped up on the tube a couple of years ago, which was, first of all, kind of telling people, men presumably, that staring at women is wrong, or pressing your genitals against them as if that was some sort of new revelation, some new information for people, even urging bystanders to get involved by trying to disrupt a kind of act of sexual harassment by asking a woman questions about what's the next stop, or do you know what the time is, or whatever. And I think all of this put together just speaks to a kind of sense in which everything's going a little bit awry, but both the state and individuals feel kind of helpless before it. So it's quite a kind of depressing spectacle, a lot of this stuff. And Patrick's exactly right. The way in which, yes, this is Currys, but also with the backing of the police, are basically saying what you need to do is adjust yourself to the fact of criminality rather than us go after the criminality. Obviously, you should keep your wits about you in a big city, but the idea that it's kind of it's part and parcel of life in a place like London to kind of constantly be on your guard to this degree is surely intolerable. But it's something that we're supposed to adapt to rather than anything.
There's also just this trend for really, as you say, with the harassment thing, for patronising signage everywhere. You know, you can't walk up a flight of stairs in London without being told to put your left foot there, your right foot there. You seem to encounter, I think it is a uniquely British thing. I've never seen this anywhere else abroad, but especially if you're in a GP surgery or you go to the hospital, you know, you'll be told, please don't beat up the ambulance staff. we don't take assaults on our staff. We have zero tolerance for assaults, and you think the person who's going to beat up, a shopkeeper or a nurse is not going to be swayed by the sign.
It's like patronising, kind of passive aggressive at the same time. It's like thank you for not groping. Almost, it'll be like one of the things we see come up. But yeah, with the tube adverts, like the idea that there's going to be, you end up hectoring everyone, despite the fact that the mercifully small but problematic minority are not going to get on a train intent on abusing women and thinking it's not on, actually, is it?
Yeah, I've been persuaded.
Yeah,
Patrick, your final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it just takes me back a few years ago. I don't know if you guys remember this, but the police decided to try to crack down on shoplifting by introducing cardboard cutouts of police officers. So someone would walk in and be like, "Right, look, I've made the decision, shoplift." And then you get in and you see a cardboard cutout of a police officer's arms fall out. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Yeah, it's absolutely bonkers. Didn't Sadiq Khan do that? That campaign where it's like mate or something.
Yeah.
Where it's like, so if one of your mates down the pub is saying something like a nice arse or something like that, you just go, mate.
Or women are shit at FIFA, I think was one of the examples as well. You've got to go, mate.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, but like meanwhile we just have people, again, to come full circle on this, but you will allow a load of, kind of virile young chaps from Sudan and Eritrea to just plonk themselves next to a primary school for a bit. Like, is that not the thing we should be focusing more on than like kind of pub banter or what someone shouts off a piece of scaffolding in London? I do find that a little bit ridiculous. Again, we're not dealing with the core issues. And it could just to cut back to it again about the ECHR thing and everything else. It just feels like we're doing everything but addressing the main issues here.
Yeah.
Like we'll do. At what point is someone going to grasp the nettle and go like, right, we need more police. We need zero tolerance when it comes to this. I think in Singapore, their tube signs or underground signs are like, if you touch a woman, you get like 50 lashes. Right. whereas over here, it's like, well, trying to distract him. There is a difference there. At what point are we going to actually deal with this stuff? Because I think anyone who does would get a lot of support because it's not so bad now. So it wouldn't really be seen as controversial anymore to go, right, we've got an epidemic of various different issues here. I'm just going to do whatever it takes to do it. And I think they'd be very surprised. There'd be that typical left-wing renter mob that turn up in most places anyway. But I mean, they'd be spread so thin because you'd be sorting everything out. They'd have to send like 5 to one protest and 5 to another. There wouldn't be enough of them. So I think it can be done.